Celebrities could be forced to declare any images of themselves that have been photoshopped under a new law that's being proposed by a Conservative MP. Dr. Luke Evans says digitally edited pictures on social media create a warped view of beauty and are fueling a mental health crisis.
Well, this image of Khloe Kardashian on the left has been accused of being altered. Fans on social media pointed out her trademark mole is apparently missing. Well, her face looks a different shape and her skin appears smoother. And there's another one of Kim Kardashian, isn't it, of her very famous bottom looking very different to the one that broke the internet. So is airbrushing in fact dangerous, or is it just a bit of fun, or are we all in on it? Do we all know so much about it that in effect what is the point of declaring it when we all assume things are being filtered and photoshopped anyway? Joining us now is the PR and brand expert Nick Eade. He says altering images actually makes them more professional, and many people, Nick, make money out of these images. It's advertising and so on, isn't it? But Jess Jones is a body confidence influencer, and you say that actually there is a responsibility to your followers, who can often be young, to show what is real and what is not. Nick, let's come to you first, actually, in a sense, in defence of photoshopping and filtering, and in fact not having to declare it, because the ban is, you know, the idea this Conservative MP is saying it's not to stop all of the photoshopping and editing, carry on with it, but just say you're doing it so that when people are looking at it, they go, OK, that's not really what that person looks like.
Well, the thing is, first of all, this started from the days of Cleopatra. You know, we've seen pictures of kings and queens all kind of photoshopped by artists. It's not a new thing. And I think we all know, and as you just said, we're all in on it. We know it's happening. We don't need to have a government health warning like it's a packet of cigarettes. It's just a way of people promoting themselves and advertising themselves in the way that they want to be perceived. It's packaging. It's something that's lasted forever, and it doesn't need this kind of ridiculous government legislation.
Jess, that's a fair point, isn't it? We've been doing it ever since year dot, and we all know it happens, so let's just let it carry on happening.
No, just because we've done something for a long time doesn't make it right, and I think we need to think about that. I think it's just, I can't understand why people wouldn't want a declaration. We're not saying don't edit your images. Whilst I actually don't think we should edit them at all, that's a different conversation. But I'm not saying don't edit your images. It's not saying don't edit them, don't, you know, Photoshop, do whatever you want to do. What we're saying is if you do, be transparent and be honest about that. And I can't understand why there's an issue to be honest. Why is it such an issue to be honest? I think if you have an influence online, you have a social responsibility to be transparent and to be honest.
So why not be honest, Nick?
Well, I think, listen, you can be honest, but then, Jess, you make your money out of being honest and talking about body confidence, and that's how brands come to you, and you are an advertising a human advert basically for the brands that pay you to do your Instagram posts. There are other celebrities who are paid by brands to do their Instagram posts because of the way that they look. Yes, that could be manipulated, but it's because a brand actually wants them to appear that way because it works for their aesthetic. So there are two sides to this story. And I think, you know, you don't need to have that declaration. And I think then it goes further and further that people in their Instagrams, you know, if you're going to do something, let's ban the apps that create these different...
I think, Nick, it's quite interesting because it wasn't that long ago, was it? I mean, I don't follow social media in the same way as you two might, but it wasn't that long ago when celebrities had to start saying this is an ad, whereas actually they were doing lots of product placements, sometimes for diet, drinks and all these other things, and acting as though just in their normal day, you know, oh, I'm just doing my hair, I'm just drinking my drink. And then actually that was seen as misleading in some way, wasn't it, Jess? That actually this isn't... They might never drink it again. They might literally be holding it up for the photograph and yet promoting it as though this is part of their healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. I have no issue declaring that I'm doing an ad or a paid spot. It's then people have an informed choice. They can see and there's transparency there. And Nick, whilst you're saying, you know, Jess, you make money by being real and honest, and then you use the word manipulate, and I think that's so dangerous. There are young people online looking at what they see, and I can't understand why we're not saying, you know, this isn't real. And whilst we say, oh, it's happened for years and we all know about it, maybe adults do, but not all adults use the internet, and some young people really use the internet, and what they see they believe to be real. And when we're saying, you know, we're going to manipulate that image to advertise something, is that not then false advertising? If you Photoshop and smooth someone's skin and say this cream really works, well, no, it doesn't, because you've just smoothed that person's skin. There needs to be some authenticity, and people need to have integrity. celebrity on the internet. And it really winds me up when we say, you know, oh, well, we've done it for years, so it's okay. Well, no, it isn't okay. We have to be responsible online, and there has to be transparency. If I have to declare something's paid, why can't someone declare that they've altered their image?
Nick, this word manipulate, I think, is an interesting one. And talking about putting pressure on young people to look a certain way, there is a real responsibility when you're in the public eye, isn't there? And actually, in the worst case scenarios, it's affecting young people's mental health. And that, you know, we've got to take this seriously.
100%, I agree there's responsibility there. But the fact of the matter is that we want to see our celebrities, our supermodels, our almost like gods in the way that we look at them in a fantastic, polished way. If you look at people like, you've just put a picture of Lady Gaga up there, you know, the way that she had created her whole sort of persona was all about a manipulation of her body, of her looks, of her hair, of her makeup, and the way that she was created is to be a little bit different, so people buy into it, to get excited, to buy into that wonderful brand that is Lady Gaga. And that is not a bad thing. And people are not that naive, and parents should not be that naive, not to educate their children that that is not the way that a normal person...
But it's interesting because Lady Gaga actually criticised the December 2013 Glamour cover for being too heavily airbrushed. Now, I don't know what heavily airbrushed means as opposed to just a little bit airbrushed, but one wonders whether her waist looks particularly small there. I know she's very small in real life. But there is an issue here, isn't there? Because lots of famous women have said that actually they don't always know when they're being airbrushed. So one thing is, say, reality stars who are in control of their Instagram accounts, but there are others whose photographs get used. I think we had Kate Winslet said something, didn't she, about it? Nicki Minaj has said about it that her forehead was retouched. Meghan Trainor said that her waist was slimmed down. Jamila Jamil, of course, very famously says that airbrushing is the devil. So actually, Jess, do we need more of the famous people themselves to start taking a stand against it? And then the PR companies, the magazines will have to start changing their behaviour because the celebrities might boycott their publication.
Yeah, I think even using Lady Gaga, Nick, you're saying, you know, she manipulated, she did, but actually that was her artistry. And I think it's very different to Photoshop yourself to look smaller and to present an image of yourself that isn't real and actually using it for art. And she's an artist, and it was a very, very different way that she's done it. I think part of the problem that we have is that we're saying, oh, you know, we want to see these polished celebrities. Who wants to see polished celebrities? And actually, do we want to see images that we've just been fed for a long time? Because actually the celebrities you're saying are polished and perfect aren't actually polished and perfect in real life. And this is the issue. I actually prefer to see, and I know a lot of women and a lot of people prefer to see people that look like them. People that, you know, we're not looking and think, oh, she looks like this and I don't look like that. What's wrong with me? There isn't anything wrong with me.
Jess, you're saying with Lady Gaga, you're happy for the art side of it, for the sort of the amazing flamboyant image that she has, but then when they're squeezing her waist or when they're making her look better in a conventional way, that's crossing the line and that shouldn't happen.
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
I think that's when it's art, it's artist. You know, she does this huge creativity that's just part of her character. But slimming her waist and distorting her body to look a different way is a completely different thing.
Go on, Nick, you were going to come in there.
I think the biggest thing is that nowadays is that we see celebrities in so many different lights. So, for instance, if it's Kim Kardashian, we see her airbrush on the cover of a magazine, of Paper magazine, breaking the internet. But also we see her on television, we see her on a reality show, and they're not so manipulated there, and they're not so airbrushed. So we know that this is all part and parcel of brand advertising and PR. We can't be that naive. And I think the main thing for us to do is to enjoy celebrity and to enjoy, and actually, I don't agree with you, Jess, saying you want to see a normal person. I wouldn't have wanted to watch the VMAs last night and to see people looking normal. I wanted to see Miley Cyrus looking fabulous and Lady Gaga looking brilliant and BTS looking sensational in the best costumes in the best way possible, because that's what I want.
Nick, that's different, isn't it? That's different to changing the shape of someone's face. I mean,
or the tone of their skin.
Yeah, we want to see people looking great, but we don't want to see them looking different.
Absolutely. And if you're
let Nick answer that.
I agree with you with regards to there has to be a responsibility, but I also say that we have to see the whole package, so we can't be so naive as to not think they're going to be airbrushed or they're going to be changed in a little way just to make the picture more aesthetic.
OK, we've been running a Twitter poll, actually, asking viewers whether they think celebrities should be forced to declare when their images have been airbrushed, because that's the proposal by this Tory MP. In fact, 81%, Nick, say that, yes, they should be forced to say so. 19% think that they shouldn't have to declare images, which suggests that people would like the honesty, but they still want the beauty of the fakeness, if that makes sense. People aren't... We can accept the sort of tinkering around with images, but we just want to know it's happening. I mean, it's interesting because I didn't realise on some of those adverts for mascara and other things, somewhere at the bottom it will say we used fake lashes, or in, you know, hair products. Actually, they use extensions and so on. So it is used a lot, isn't it, in selling?
Do people pay attention to that?
Well, I don't
really
know.
Thank
you, both of you. We've got lots of comments here, actually. Sheila Ferguson from the 3 Degrees on Twitter has responded to this question. She says, I don't think celebs actually know when their images are being airbrushed. Mine certainly are not. I wouldn't stand for that malarkey. I'll grow old as graciously as I possibly can, she says. Yeah,
and there's this differentiation between social media, a celebrity putting out their own pictures, and then magazines. So John on Twitter has said celebrities shouldn't, but magazines should, and it should apply in general because we need to know if photos are airbrushed.
And Abby on Twitter says, on the opposite side, a lot of young people, like myself, she says, feel pressured to look a certain way. And when you know that celebs don't have flawless skin and perfect teeth, it's sort of reassuring for us. Well, keep watching this show. You'll be very reassured by all of us on this show. There is literally no airbrushing,
Actually, I'm looking a bit shiny already.
Yeah,
I think I
exactly.
could do with something, couldn't I?